Last year, actually, we saw in most regions rates of mobile internet adoption decreased because of the economic crisis, but in sub-Saharan Africa is one of the regions where that wasn't the case. So that's a very positive story. The gray line shows the coverage gap, those who are not living within mobile broadband coverage, and you can see it's dropped significantly due to investments in mobile broadband. From 2015, you can see it's gone significantly down. Still large, and sub-Saharan Africa still has the largest coverage gap, but it's definitely improving, although obviously those who are not covered are the ones who are most challenging to reach. And the light blue line at the top is the usage gap, so those who are living in areas of coverage but are not using it. And sub-Saharan Africa also has the largest usage gap of all the regions, and you can see that, one, it is much bigger than the coverage gap, but also that it has sort of stagnated. It has remained relatively unchanged in the last couple of years, which is worrying, which means that we do need to do much more investment if we're going to start to move that in a downward trend in the way that the coverage gap has gone down. So there's much more that's needed. Now, we do a survey every year to understand from people why are they not using mobile internet and what's stopping them from doing so. And again, just exactly what you were hearing earlier from the survey from people who are mobile users who are aware of mobile internet. The biggest barriers they say to starting to use mobile internet is affordability, primarily of handsets, literacy and digital skills. Obviously, there's a lot of other barriers such as safety and security concerns, lack of relevant content and services, including in local languages. But those are the two that are coming up in sub-Saharan Africa as the sort of biggest reported to just going online for the first time. And given affordability of handsets is a big issue, I wanted to sort of do a double click on the issue of handsets. For the first time in our report this year, we looked at smartphone ownership, sized how many people had a smartphone, and we looked at connectivity by device type. And we know that smartphones are absolutely critical to accessing the internet. Most people who use the internet use a smartphone, and when people have a smartphone, they use it more and for more diverse services and have a bigger, more enriched experience. But only 17% of the population in sub-Saharan Africa were connecting to the internet on a smartphone. And more broadly, you can see of those people who are living in areas with coverage but were not using the internet, 2/3 of them didn't even have a phone of any type. So that's quite significant, which is I think why we're having a lot of conversations at this conference about handsets and how to get them affordable. And affordability of an entry-level internet-enabled device in sub-Saharan Africa last year worsened significantly. And just to put it into context, went too far. And if you look at just the poorest 20% in sub-Saharan Africa, an entry-level internet-enabled device costs on an average of 95% of monthly income. I mean, these are quite shocking figures, and this is why I think we need to, and it's great that we see the partnership with Airtel in Rwanda, and why there's been so many efforts to try now to get that cost down and make it affordable for people.